It was a fairly quiet evening at first. I was hanging out alone at home playing video games and snacking. This is basically my favorite pastime. Around 8 p.m. I noticed a low rumbling, as if a thunderstorm was brewing. I got up from my game to look outside. It was pitch black out. This is fairly unusual, because I live in Virginia. During the summertime here, it stays light out until about 9 p.m. Rain hadn't started just yet, so I didn't think much of it. As I sat back down to play my video game, I heard a power surge of a transformer nearby. The lights flicker, once, twice, and then a third time, but they manage to stay on after. Out of nowhere, my Xbox shuts off and then powers back on. Luckily, it was in a surge protector, so no harm was done. Either way, I was starting to get a little spooked. If the power went out while it's this dark outside, I didn't even want to think about it. I got up once more and started to look around for candles. I lit a few and placed them by the TV, sitting back down to continue my game. As soon as I sat down, the power shut off. I was grateful that I had lit the candles, but it was as if the light wasn't spreading very far out from the flickering flame. As I go to pull out my phone and turn on its flashlight to see if I can find a few more candles, it rings. I nearly jumped out of my own skin. It was my mom calling to check in on me. I told her I was fine, and she promised to be home within the next hour and a half. As I hung up, I flipped my phone flashlight on. As soon as I pointed it up towards the living room next to my room, I see a dark flash. It was almost like a shadow of some sort, but it moved so quickly that I had to assume that it was cast by my phone's flashlight. As I walk into the living room, I can't help but notice that the room is so quiet. Normally the neighborhood kids are out laughing and playing, but now I'm met with dead silence. My stomach started to churn a bit, and I moved into the living room to find those stupid decorative candles my mom kept but never lit. As I pull them down from the mantle, I hear what sounds like a tap, tap on the window behind me. I freeze, but shortly after that, the rain begins to fall. It's so loud that I immediately assume the taps were from the rain and wind. I retreat to my room, and as I do, I hear the tap, tap again. This time it's louder. It sounds as if it's coming from inside the house, but with the sound of the rain falling heavily outside, I can't quite make out where it's coming from. I run over to my bed and set up the candles next to me, lighting both with a shaky hand. I need to snap out of it, honestly. I've been home alone during a storm before, and I'm too old to be afraid of the dark, I think to myself. I lay back on the bed and stare into one of the candle flames. I start to relax a bit, but before I know it, I jump. I must have fallen asleep. I look over at the candle, and they're over half melted. How long had I been? I stop mid-thought as the feeling of ice runs down my spine. It looks as if some shadowy figure is standing at the end of the bed. I stare, eyes wide. As I peer at this figure, it shifts and morphs, leading me to believe that my eyes are simply playing tricks on me. I close my eyes, and I rub them. Once I reopen them, I see nothing but a dark room. Phew. I need to chill, I think. I go to grab my phone, which I assumed was laying on the bed next to me. As soon as I pick it up, it begins to ring. I jump just like I did the first time, wondering how my mom seems to time these things so perfectly. I answer the phone, and despite saying hello multiple times, I'm met with silence from the other end. Weird, I thought, and go to check the time. My vision seems blurry, and I can't make out the numbers on the screen. Then suddenly I realize I must be... I wake up with my head on the pillow right next to the Xbox. The lights are on, and my character is idling on the screen. That's weird, I thought. What a long dream. I get up to go grab some water and to shake off the eerie feeling that still lingered. As soon as I stand, the lights flicker and shut off. The room is pitch dark, and my phone begins ringing. I pull it out of my pocket and look at the screen. It's my mom again. I chuckle to myself this time, thinking about the dream and how I plan to tell her. I immediately start, "Hey Mom, the power just went out, but I'm all good." I hear nothing but silence on the other line, so I keep repeating, "Hello? Hello?" Eventually I hang up and go to look at the time, hoping she'll be home soon. I have experienced enough weirdness for one night. As I look at my phone, I notice that the time is blurry, and I hear a light tap, tap in the living room.